Good morning, everyone. Good afternoon, good evening. How are you all doing? My name is Amanda Ellis and a very warm welcome to this channel. Right, this is a tricky video. I'm going to, as always, just ask to be led by spirit with regards to what can be brought forward and what cannot. You may not know, but there is a super injunction supposedly in place around the subject of this video, which is Keir Starmer. There are things that can't yet maybe be revealed. But I was given a particular word by Archangel Metatron last week. I'm recording this on Sunday, the 6th of October. I think it was Monday or Tuesday. It's documented back on my Facebook and Instagram page if you follow me there. And I kept seeing his face, Keir Starmer's face, our Prime Minister of the UK of only a few months. And I kept hearing the word traitor. Now, when Spirit says a word such as traitor, it isn't saying it in maybe the same way that we might say it, from a more 3D perspective, from a more human perspective, with maybe judgment attached to it. When Spirit says something such as traitor, they are just highlighting an archetypal energy that is being played out on the world stage and potentially being played out in the country I come from, UK, right now. Although there are, Spirit is saying, many traitors around the world. I thought, and I still might do in the future, that what Metatron was asking me to look at was the wider template of betrayal. And the energy of Judas Iscariot, of course, came through very strongly at that point. I have done videos on Judas Iscariot before on this channel. I'll link them below, because without the betrayal, of course, there couldn't have been the resurrection, which is why Spirit don't judge any of the archetypes. They're all valid in the eyes of God. They are all expressions of God. And we live on a planet of duality, so there's going to be darkness and there's going to be light. But it literally wouldn't leave me, this word, traitor, traitor, traitor. I didn't understand it. I thought it might be something linked into maybe his private life, which may be correct as well. But we're not going to go there, I don't think, in this video because of the super injunction. But what happened was, I think 24 or 48 hours after I heard this thing, he basically has signed over sovereignty of a group of islands called the Chagos Islands. I think the vast majority of Brits probably have never heard of these islands, although we have heard of the Falkland Islands, which we went to war over with Argentina, and we have heard, of course, of Gibraltar. Now, before I go any further, this video isn't about whether it's right or wrong for the UK to still have sovereignty over other places around the world. It's more the point that in a parliamentary recess, let me just double check I'm right here. Yeah, in a parliamentary recess with zero debate or discussion before Parliament, Keir Starmer decided from a solo perspective to hand over sovereignty of these islands. There's been pretty much a big outcry since because of this lack of debate, lack of discussion, just seemed to come out of the blue. Apparently, I didn't know this at the time, but the Chagos Islands, one of the larger islands of the group, is Diego Garcia, which is an airbase owned by the US. It's said that by selling the dispute or giving the islands back, I'm sure money is involved, to Mauritius, it's going to help secure the peace in that area, although that is disputed because it's also saying that Mauritius have very close ties to China. I think at this point I'm just going to read a news article, get us up to speed, and then we're going to pull some cards. I've also channeled, I've actually handwritten, automatic writing, something from William T Stead, who I've channeled before, who was a very preeminent journalist of his time, died on Titanic, is one of my guides, and in fact I've been turning back to in the recent days. He had something to say on this as well. But anyway, this is something that was reported last week. So it said, Britain said on Thursday that it would cede sovereignty of the Chagos Islands to Mauritius in a deal that secured the future of the UK-US Diego Garcia military base, and which could also pave the way for people displaced decades ago to return home. Joe Biden welcomed the deal, saying it would secure the effective operation of Diego Garcia, an important airbase in the Indian Ocean into the next century. But critics in Britain said it was a capitulation that played into the hands of China, which has close ties with Mauritius. So the whys and wherefores, I think there's also something come out that Keir Starmer has got a close alliance or friendship with somebody high up in the Chagos Islands. I think I'm right in saying that. If I'm not, apologies, but I think I've read that. But over and above that, when I heard that breaking story, I understood why I was hearing traitor. So I would like to explore this in this video. Let's just look at what the meaning of traitor is. A traitor is a person who betrays someone or something, such as a friend, a cause, or a principle. I was shown Traitor's Gate in Tower of London, which actually I visited last year. Really interesting place. But yeah, Traitor's Gate is where the traitors used to come in, and it's still there. It's very Gothic. I was shown that. I've written down here November the 5th, which of course is our anniversary of Guy Fawkes trying to blow up the Houses of Parliament. I know it's also the date of the US election this time round. But I don't know, this story's going to run and run is what I'm hearing. But more than anything, this ceding of sovereignty of these islands, there's going to be a domino effect, which Keir Starmer knew would happen when he did it. And the first domino to fall could be the Falkland Islands, but then we've also got Gibraltar. As I say, this video isn't about the right or wrongs of whether we should or should not have sovereignty over these islands. It's more the fact that it's being done by one man solo without any consultation. And remember, of course, the UK did go to war with the Falklands, Argentina, over the Falkland Islands, and people died to secure the sovereignty of those lands. So there's been no discussion with people in the Chagos Islands, or if it came to it, in the Falkland Islands or Gibraltar. So what the hell is going on here? Why is he acting like this, like an emperor, effectively, who doesn't need to consult his parliament? I'm going to read to you what I channeled. It's only a short piece from William T Stead. Now, as I say, he was a journalist. I can't remember what William's politics were, but it's been said that when people pass over, however long ago, they still retain that core essence of who they are at soul level. Of course they do, but also the memories of who they were. So he still feels as though he has a lot to say about current political shenanigans. And it got a bit heated, so I'm just going to read it. But as I say, just realise that spirit can still have an opinion, can still, particularly when something is wrong, when they see something being wrong. William T Stead's whole life was about calling out what was wrong. Child prostitution being one, for example. Laws were brought in on the back of all of that. So, you know, he is a passionate advocate for the truth, is what I'm hearing him say now. But anyway, this is what I channeled from him a few days ago. So I said, asking William T Stead, what is about to be revealed about the British Prime Minister Keir Starmer? And this is what came out of my hand, as it were, because he likes automatic writing. Okay, this is what he says. Unrepentance, immovable, about to be taught a lesson and brought down a peg or two. The result of years of previous bad role modelling and acquiescence on important subjects of the day. Dereliction of duty, shirking responsibilities, shocking, outrageous, not to be trusted with state affairs or the red box. The red box, I believe, is all the government papers that they have. A removal by force will be required to bring about better balance and a respect for the position held and power wielded. Power in the wrong hands is a dangerous thing. Power without conscience, even more of a threat. Politics must have a heart, be shown to care and to mean it. Keir is a stooge. Now, I had to look up the word stooge. I'll tell you what it is in a minute. Keir is a stooge. This is where it gets a bit heated. A sycophant, a liar. I do not endorse his policies or way that he conducts his personal life. He believes he is above the law, that he is the law of the land. He needs to be humbled. He will be brought down by his own deeds and actions, his own failings and flaws. That, I thought, okay, I'm just going to, maybe I shouldn't, maybe I should have carried on writing. But anyway, I could just feel the steam coming off William. And I thought, no, we'll leave it there. So I looked up, what is a stooge? Because it's not a word I don't think I've ever used. A stooge is a subordinate used by another to do unpleasant routine work. Party stooges put there to do a job on behalf of central office. I feel as though what William was saying is here is a man who is doing the work on behalf of others. I don't know who those others are. We can speculate, can't we, of course? And it's easy to say, oh, you know, is it Joe Biden? I think it's above that. I really think it's above that. It is what I call the powers that were, because I don't like to give them the power anymore. That are the faceless ones. In fact, I think I wrote it down. What did I write down? The faceless ones with no soul, all about money and greed. That's who I think he's following orders, basically. So these are really dangerous times because, as I say, it's not about the right and wrongs of whether we should even have these islands and other places. It's no consultation. It's being the emperor with no nobody being able to rein him in yet. I'm sure they will. So I also pulled a few cards. As I say, I've had this sitting on my desk for the past week thinking, what do I do with all this? A really unusual, interesting message came through. So if you're following my thread of what we're talking about here, so he surrendered the Chagos Islands. The next one, which are in danger, are the Falklands. And Keir Starmer was actually asked about that this week by an interviewer, a reporter, who said, can you say with assurance that the sovereignty of the Falkland Islands and Gibraltar will be protected and upheld? And he didn't. He fobbed the answer. He didn't answer it. He just. It's almost as though he'd heard the question, but then he, like all politicians do, he just refused to answer it, basically. So in many ways, it was no, wasn't it? At that, I had Margaret Thatcher, who I've channelled before, come in, as you can imagine, with a vengeance. So Margaret Thatcher, for those of you not in this country, was the Prime Minister during the Falklands War, and she returned sovereignty to the UK after the invasion. These are the cards. So I'm just going to show what it is. So I was talking about, this is the card. Okay, I got the card of revenge. And that's when Thatcher came in. And it's like she was saying, it's like a personal vendetta also against me. I know this is sounding bonkers, guys, but I'm just going to tell you what I'm getting, okay? She's saying it's a personal vengeance against me. He wants to undo my legacy. This is her talking. And there's also something about the fact that apparently he took down a great big portrait of Margaret Thatcher, which was in 10 Downing Street. And he said, I didn't want to see her looking down at me or something. But I'm hearing now her saying he didn't want to face me. He didn't want to be, he couldn't look me in the eyes with regards to what he was about to do. So we got the card of vengeance, or vengeance, revenge. And then this came, the card of breakup, divorce and separation, which is linked into being quite happy to give away parts of British sovereignty, but this is also about the soul of Britain. I know I'm sounding quite strong in this video, but I just have to go with what I'm getting. Giving away parts of Britain, but it's more than that. It's like the dismantling. It's the dismantling of the British way. It's over and above the islands. It's more than that. So there's a warning here. And then we've also got the card of surveillance. That's as far as I got. So I'm going to pull some more cards now. So surveillance, warning system, breakup, divorce. Let me go into this surveillance card. Let me just pull another one to go with it. Does this mean that he's actually being watched? I mean, obviously he's being watched by MI5. Who's watching him? Who's watching him? Who's surveilling? Who is surveilling? I mean, okay, right, okay. No, he's wanting to bring in greater surveillance. I mean, we know this anyway. If you live in the UK, you know this stuff. And on the bottom of the deck, we've got the card of ego. I will say at this point, because I know I'm going to be attacked if the comments are even on, I might turn them off. But I did try and get behind this guy when he came in. You know, if you've watched me regularly, you'll know that I did. I wasn't particularly pleased that he'd got into power. I had a physical reaction when I heard that he had won with a lot of seats. He's got a huge majority in the House of Parliament. I really had a physical reaction to my body and I had to really work through it. And then I came back online and I did a video about let's get behind people who've just been elected because, you know, we're shooting ourselves in the foot if we don't do that. But equally, you can only give somebody so much rope, can't you? It's no, this is the way he's operating is really wrong with regards to freedom of speech, but also now this, because it's like, what next? We've got the card of self-sabotage actually on the bottom of the deck just come through, because yeah, that is a template that seems to be true. It's as though he got in with such a majority. It wasn't, I remember talking about a loveless landslide, but he did get in with a huge majority. He has got a huge majority, but it's like self-sabotage. It's like the approval rating of this government it's so low, and as I say, they've only been in power a couple of months. So buyer's regret happening as well for lots of people that did vote, and it's very similar to what I've just been talking about on my last video, which was to do with coping with disaster and what happened in Hurricane Helene, and the fact people waking up to the fact that the government's not actually for you, the government's not actually helping you. You know, one of the things that Keir Starmer was first attacked for when he got into power was the fact that he's taken away the winter fuel allowance for elderly, vulnerable people. And people just can't understand it, including people that voted for him. So there's a lot that's been happening. But this latest thing about the surrender of the islands, it's like, well, who is this guy? Who is he? So anyway, let's pull some more cards. I want another card to go with surveillance. I mean, I don't really, but we have to face what is right in front of us. Let's see. Sorry, there's about 5 that flew out then. I only want one, please. One card. What goes with surveillance? Keir Starmer, what goes with surveillance? I've got that song in my head, Watching Me, Watching You. Who did that? I've got Struggle. Let me pause the camera. I found the song. The song's by Rockwell. It's called Somebody's Watching Me. It says, who's watching? Tell me who's watching. Who's watching me? I'm just an average man with an average life. This is to do with surveillance, the government surveilling the people. I'm just an average man with an average life. I work from 9 to 5. Hey, hell, I pay the price. All I want is to be left alone in my average home. But why do I always feel like I'm in the twilight zone? I always feel like somebody's watching me and I have no privacy. When I come home at night, I bolt the door real tight. People call me on the phone I'm trying to avoid. But can the people on TV see me, or am I just paranoid? Yeah, it's about paranoia and who's watching me. And it's this surveillance, isn't it? We've got struggle. People are struggling with the level of surveillance, the level of interference that the government is making into their lives. Right, okay, where are we going with this read? I mean, I really don't know where to go with this read. I just know that I've been asked to come on and document it. It's a weird way to put it, but Metatron's saying just document it, because there's a lot of people just... We're on a slippery slope, basically, is what I'm hearing. We're on a slippery slope. It's the boiling frog analogy. It's like people don't realise what's happening until it's too late. And so actually it is about sometimes coming on and calling people out, or just raising awareness of what's actually going on, what's truly at stake, what's truly at stake. If you think about... I've got the card of top secret. Yeah, I mean, the secrets all around this guy. Special injunctions, secrets... I guess it will all come out. Yeah, there's something here about... If you think about sovereignty, we talk about sovereignty a lot on this channel, freedom and sovereignty. A sovereign isle, a sovereign people, a sovereign you, a sovereign me. And you've got the government giving away sovereignty without even asking you if it's okay to give it away. I mean, the answer still might have been yes, but that's the point is you ask, you consult, you go to Parliament. When one person alone just feels as though they can run roughshod, it's not right, is it? Let's go to another deck. We've got the card of sorrow and the card of the magician. I mean, I'm not picking up that he's sorrowful. But there was a card of regret earlier. I put it back into the deck from this other one. Regret, struggle, sorrow. These are really heavy energies. And, you know, as a country, we need hope back. We need hope. We need to be talking up the country, and that we can do things. I was talking to somebody the other day about that, the fact that, well, that's my brother actually, he's a recruitment consultant, and it's just like this, it's really difficult at the moment because there's no hope out there. So employers are like, well, shall we, shan't we? Shall we expand? Shall we not? Is it worth it? You know, you need positive talk to come through. Got the card of the hermit. Yeah, we need this. The country needs to really reflect on what is going on here. Let's pull a few more cards. Keir Starmer, what is there to say, please? Keir Starmer, why are you asking me to do this video, please? We've got the Nine of Cups. We've got the card of fulfillment. That's the wish. Why am I being asked to do this? Because we're being asked, what is our wish? How do we see ourselves going forward? How do we see ourselves as a country? What do we wish to be? How do we wish to be governed? Let's pull a rune. Keir Starmer, we've got this one. Let's look up what this means. This is separation. Yeah, it's leading us more into separation and division, not into unity. And also separation, as in literal separation of bits of the country. I don't know what his stance is with regards to breakup of the actual United Kingdom as well. Wouldn't put it past him to stir that pot again either. Page 98. You can tell I'm not a big fan, but equally I see what he's trying to teach us here, which is to stand up for ourselves. This is the card, this is Keir Starmer, this is him, it's separation. This is a time of separating paths. Old skins must be shed, outmoded relationships discarded. It's a rune of radical severance. The appropriate action here is submission and quite possibly retreat, knowing how and when to retreat and possessing the firmness of will to carry it out. Real property is associated with this rune. Yeah, the islands are real property, for it is the rune of acquisition and benefits. However, the benefits you receive, the inheritance, may be derived from something you must give up. This can be particularly demanding when what you are called upon to abandon is some aspect of your behaviour, a part of your cultural inheritance. For then you must look closely at what until now you have proudly claimed as your birthright, whether it is your attachment to your position in society, to the work you do, or even to your beliefs about your own nature. The separation called for will free you to become more of who you truly are. Well, that's interesting, isn't it? So in this way, from a soul level, he's releasing an identity for a new one to come. But I still say it's okay to struggle with the release. Because if you don't, it's just as though you're saying that all stages and all emotions that arise during times of transition are not valid, and they are. So that's why Metatron was talking about the energy of traitor. That's how it's being perceived. And I still believe there's a whole other story that we're not hearing about here with regards to why and why now these islands have been given back. And I can't get what that is, but I just know it doesn't feel good, let's put it that way. But equally, in the longer term, by pruning the tree, as it were, it helps to maybe focus efforts more at home. I don't think he's the one that's going to be helping us to do that. I think it's somebody else. But, you know, it's when you look back in 50 years, you might be able to see that actually that was leaking energy, or that was leaking money, or that was leaking attention, etc. So was he right? Was he wrong? I don't know. Time will prove. But, you know, I heard the word traitor for a reason. So let's ask about that. Why did I hear the word traitor linked into Starmer? We've got this rune. I don't think I've pulled that one before, so I've no idea what it means. Let's look it up in the book. What is that? I know those of you that read them are now shouting at me. What is it? Oh, initiation. All right. Okay, it's initiation. Page 103. Let's have a look. Page 103. So I asked about the word traitor and the Keir Starmer. This is the rune which is to do with something being hidden and a secret matter. It's a mystery rune pointing to that which is beyond our frail manipulative powers. It's on the side of heaven, the unknowable, and has associations with the phoenix, that mystical bird which consumes itself in the fire and then rises from its own ashes. And he said rashes. Its ways are secret and hidden. Powerful forces of change are at work here, yet what is achieved is not easily or readily shared. After all becoming whole, the means of it is a profound secret. Nothing external matters here, except as it shows you its inner reflection. For some, this means experiencing a death. It need be let go of everything, no exceptions, no exclusions, nothing less than renewal of your spirit is at stake when you draw this rune. Ooh, I'm getting something a bit odd coming through here now. I feel has he been threatened? Has he been threatened? I feel he's been threatened. That if you don't do this, something happens to you. I think he's been threatened. I don't think he's his own man. That's sad. I've just split the deck and I've got death. This rune is linked to a death. Doesn't mean he's going to die. I feel he was threatened. I feel he was threatened. And that's why he won't look you in the eye. Have you seen that with his interviews? He doesn't look people in the eye a lot. He's a bit shifty. He doesn't look people. He's not comfortable with this, but he's doing it for whatever masters are out there. And that's why I had an issue with it. It wasn't really about the islands per se, It wasn't about the fact, oh, rule Britannia and we've got to hold on to these territories. It was the way it was done. Skullduggery. It didn't feel right. It's not right. I don't think he feels right about it either. So who are the ones behind this? Who are the ones threatening? Who are the ones threatening? Oh, and look what's underneath the card of death. Gift package. Life insurance. Regret. I can't believe the cards. Treason. Wow. Well, does that not say it all? Threatened. If you don't do this, something will happen to you. But if you do, you get a gift. You get a package. Your life insurance is fine. But the deep regret at the treason. I'm right. I'm right. I know I'm right on this. I know I am right on this. There is treason afoot. That's why I was shown Traitor's Gate. Yeah, card of water. Traitor's Gate. There used to be a moat, I think. There was water. I don't know what this is, but I don't like it. I don't even know if it's ever even going to come out what this is all about. I hope so. What can we do as light workers? I think we surround the country in protection. I feel there's been an infiltration within the government. This is above left or right, guys. This is above left or right. This is an infiltration energy into the heart of government. But it's messy because I still keep going back to this card. I still think he's got such a dislike of someone like Thatcher. Even though he regrets what he's been forced to do, there's also a part of him which is like, up yours a bit, you know? Maybe he had a past life with Thatcher, maybe. There's scores to settle there. But I see her and she's furious. Let's pull a card for her. Let's pull a card for Thatcher. I'm going to stick with this deck. Whispers of the Unsolved. Margaret Thatcher, what do you want to say right now? Run away, escape. The card of friend. The card of grandparent, elder. I think I know what this is. Can I have one more card, please? Margaret Thatcher. What is your message to us here, please? Solved. What did I just say? Blackmail, paid off, money. God, higher power, snake backstabber. She's confirming what I've said. There was money involved in this. Blackmail, threatening, paid off. I think he was threatened. I think his family were threatened. Or, you know, his friendship groups, grandparent, elder, family groups, runaway, escape. But I like the fact we've got these two cards, solved and God, higher power. And this feels very much like a PC plod type figure, you know, a very, when I say a lowly PC, it's not like the upper stratas of the police where there might be problems, let's put it that way, in terms of powers that still have control. This is like PC plod who just puts all the pieces together. It could be a journalist. But however dirty and mucky this is, because it is, and whatever deals, grubby deals have been done behind the scenes, it's going to be eventually called out, found out, solved, and there's like a resurrection moment for the country. That's what Margaret's saying. Right. I don't think I want to go any further. I don't think I can go any further at this point with this read. I'm just going to put it out there on the record. That's what I've been asked to do. And let's end with the spiritual protection spray. Put on our armour of God. Surrounding the whole Isles in that, Houses of Parliament in that, the people in that, asking for true governance, asking for a leader to emerge that is worthy of us and listens and is answerable to the people, not whoever this energy is that I've picked up here. This is grubby. How disappointing. I don't say that with any joy whatsoever. I mean, I didn't vote for him, and I was honest with you after the election that I felt extremely disappointed and, just had that physical reaction, which was like, this is just awful, this is going to be terrible. I couldn't understand it. I do now. But I know people that did and were really, really happy that he was in, and I can see their whole demeanour now is like, oh, I'm disappointed for them. There's no victors in this whatsoever. But let's just hold the light, hold the line, and hold the essence of who we are as a country. And we will rise with the right leader once again. Okay, guys, take care. Lots of love. Bye-bye for now. Thank you. Bye.